This is ABC 7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
Hello and welcome. I'm Scott Dennis. Thanks so much for joining us. Let's get right to our top story. Florida's East Coast bracing for the impact of Hurricane Matthew. The storm strengthening this morning into a Category 4 hurricane. Let's go to meteorologist John Scalzi with the latest on the storm. John?
Yeah, this is really a tragic and devastating event that's unfolding as we progress through the afternoon. Haiti, of course, having been hit hard. There are some aerial shots that show only 1% of the structures in coastal towns of Haiti are still standing. And Haiti has a history of more deaths occurring after a natural disaster has ended and the aftermath occurs of cholera and dysentery. So that's one thing that will play into the history of this storm. Now, big thunderstorms all around the eye. It has strengthened into a Category 4. The Bahama Island chain under the gun, just having passed by Andros Island. It continues on a path that will now produce massive rainfall and heavy flooding for the Grand Bahama Island as well, it looks like, as it takes a track that carries it right up toward the Space Coast. As it skirts the coast of the Space Coast, there will be some significant damage done by inland flooding, as well as coastal storm surge that could be 15 feet high. Okay, our watches and warnings have not changed with the last issuance from the Hurricane Center, except that the watches have been extended further northward. In our location, we still have tropical storm watches up for our area, meaning the tropical storm force winds are possible, but not certain, except for Hardee County, where there still is a tropical storm warning, meaning the expectation exists of tropical storm force winds. More on that in a few minutes. I think that what we are looking at here is probably a 30 to 40 mile an hour sustained wind in Wauchula and Ona and areas of Hardee County during the probably evening hours, late evening hours, nighttime hours through tomorrow morning, with gusts as high as 45, higher gusts in thunderstorms that pass through. And the rest of the area, I think, will probably see 20 to 25 mile per hour winds with gusts to near 30. Take a look at the track of the storm. It has not changed all that much. The philosophy remains the same, and the models converge on the storm moving to the north as a Category 4, getting very close to the Florida coastline by about 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, with storm surge on top of wave action, on top of tidal action, totaling perhaps 15-foot breaking waves over land, which means over the top of roofs. Just a horrific situation unfolding, Scott.
All right, John, we'll get back to you a little later with more details on the storm. Meanwhile, the Bahamas capital of Nassau receiving the brunt of Hurricane Matthew over the last few hours. Torrential rains, winds over 100 miles an hour, slamming parts of the island. The storm so far overall has killed 39 people, most of those deaths in Haiti. We'll have more on the devastation Matthew is leaving behind in the Caribbean later in our newscast. But Matthew will likely be the strongest storm to impact the United States in a decade. Millions of people are now being told to prepare for the possibility of a direct hit. Authorities say this could be the biggest mass evacuation ever. ABC's Maggie Rulli has more.
This morning, Florida is preparing for this. Hurricane Matthew, possibly the worst storm to hit the Sunshine State in decades. It's already ripped through the Caribbean, slamming into Haiti.
Everything in my house is wet. I've lost everything. The water took it.
Leveling towns in Cuba. As it makes its way through the Bahamas, Matthew heads to the U.S. The already fatal storm is strengthening over open water, with winds whipping at more than 120 miles an hour. Florida, Georgia, and the Carolinas have already declared states of emergency, and residents are being forced to choose, evacuate, or stock up. More than 1 million are being asked to leave their homes in Florida.
Evacuate, evacuate, evacuate. Unfortunately, this is going to kill people.
South Carolina is expected to evacuate 500,000 people. Traffic there has been bumper to bumper as residents flee.
We want you to evacuate. We do not want you to stay.
Those who do stay are scrambling for supplies, food, and bottled water.
I've already been to 3 gas stations that have shut down because they're out of gas.
We've been waiting about 30, 40 minutes, just getting some plywood.
We wanted to get batteries, but they're out of batteries.
The president warning residents to prepare for the worst.
If you get an evacuation order, just remember that you can always rebuild, you can always repair property, you cannot restore a life if it is lost.
The U.S. Navy says it's prepared to help and has its East Coast fleet in a heightened state of readiness to be deployed if needed. Maggie Rulli, ABC News, Washington.
Here in the Suncoast, Manatee County has declared a local state of emergency. Again, the area only under a tropical storm watch. No mandatory evacuation orders are being issued, but Manatee County emergency management officials are recommending that those who live in mobile or manufactured homes to stay safe during the storm.
We're urging or recommending manufactured and mobile home residents to take shelter, to head for a safer environment, and to that end, find a home of a friend or a relative if you're able to. Motels and hotels will be the second resort, and probably the last resort is a public shelter.
They have opened 4 shelters. We'll have more information on that in a moment. Manatee County residents scheduled to ride MCAT's Handy Bus should expect early pickups. The Handy Bus will only be available tomorrow for important medical trips. Other impacts: all Manatee County schools will be closing tomorrow. All extracurricular activities, including football games and athletic programs, are also canceled. Mandatory after-school programs will not be canceled for today. And Sarasota County schools, the public schools, will be open on Friday. 4 Manatee County schools will be opening as shelters later today. That starts at 4 p.m. this afternoon for those who are evacuating those mobile and manufactured homes. Schools are listed there on your screen. They are Manatee High School, Myakka City Elementary, Mills Elementary, and Nolan Middle School. Manatee High and Mills are both pet-friendly shelters. Nolan Middle is for special needs. Also, Manatee County residents are getting ready for the possible impacts Matthew can have at this Home Depot in Bradenton, selling many of its generators. They're sold out. Battery supplies are going quickly. Other supplies that emergency management officials suggest you include in your hurricane kits: of course, water, non-perishable food, gas, flashlights. Home Depot store manager says they've been getting products ready for the past few days.
A lot of water. We have ice for them. We've got tarps, we've got roofing materials, stuff to stop leaks. We've got all that. We've got products behind us here that will allow us to get them back to their lives as fast as possible.
Store managers also say they've already run out of some items, but trucks will be coming in later tonight to resupply those stores. Trucks are also standing by across the state, ready to immediately start handing out water and other needed items across the state in the aftermath of the storm. And power crews also staging to help restore power to the affected areas, again, after the storm passes. Sandbags are now available in Manatee County. GT Bray Park and Bradenton handing out sandbags to help homeowners who are concerned about flooding. While we aren't expected to get excessive amounts of rainfall from this storm, officials say it's always better to be prepared. Those sandbags are being given out at Buffalo Creek Park, Lakewood Ranch Park, Stormwater Ops at the Rabonia Community Center, and Manatee County Emergency Management is also encouraging people to sign up for the county's Code Red notification service, which will get you up to date and what the things you need to know in the event of an emergency. You can also get constant updates on Hurricane Matthew 24 hours a day by downloading our app. Just search for Suncoast Weather. You'll get notifications if there are any watches or warnings issued, street closures, flooding problems that will all directly go to your smartphone. In other news today, volunteers are needed for this year's Chalk Festival in Venice. That's coming up soon. The first of 3 signups will be held tonight at the Venice Area Chamber of Commerce from 6 to 8. Volunteers are needed to set up and clean up after the event. The other 2 signups will be held Sunday and next Wednesday at the Chalk Festival Warehouse. That festival runs from November 11th to the 14th at the Venice Municipal Airport Festival Grounds, and the theme for this year's event, Love and Peace. Time now to get over to the kitchen, where our good friend and guest chef Samuel Ray joined us today from Tsunami Sushi and Hibachi Grill in Sarasota. Samuel always brings something delicious for us. What's on your menu for today?
Today we're going to cook orange chicken meatballs, so it's a little bit of a twist.
All right, we'll find out how it comes together in a little bit. Thank you, Samuel.
What does it mean when New South Window says Factory Direct?
It means we have a factory.
It means we eliminate the middleman.
It means you get an award-winning, energy-efficient window at factory direct pricing.
I'm consumer investigator Dale Cardwell. Replacing your windows will not just beautify your home, but save you big bucks on your energy bills. I've done the research. I've seen the factory. New South Window is my hands-down choice.
New South Window. We manufacture, we install, we guarantee. Call now.
I knew I could get myself out of this. I just needed some hope. and some help.
I took the first step to recovery when I made the call.
If you're depressed, drinking, and using drugs, you may need help. And the Affordable Care Act guarantees coverage of substance abuse. Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment.
I had problems just getting to sleep, drinking and using pills every night.
I feel like I'm losing control. I'm afraid I'll lose my job or even my family.
Are you losing hope? You can recover and get back on track. Call now for hope and help with proven, gentle recovery programs.
I never thought that I could be somebody who didn't drink and use drugs.
I have something to hold on to for strength. I'm in recovery, getting the help I need.
Call the Addiction, Hope, and Helpline now for a free assessment with someone who cares.
Call 1-800-764-8708. That's 1-800-764-8708.
Getting older shouldn't mean giving up all the things she loves to do. It should just mean, well, finding new ways to do them. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to provide help with personal care, housekeeping, and of course, meal preparation.
Oh, that smells so good. Oh, and it tastes good too.
We can provide the right care right at home.
For your plumbing, electrical, or air conditioning, and services is qualified, and service calls are free. And services.com, A-N-D, services.com.
Today at 4 on Suncoast View. I'm Stephanie Roberts on Suncoast View. Small Suncoast businesses with big success stories, plus a 5 piano concert preview and Gold Rush barbecue in the kitchen. Today at 4 on Suncoast View.
ABC 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you weeknights at 5. Now, the official Suncoast weather with ABC 7 meteorologist John Scalzi.
So it hasn't been a bad day thus far. Sun shining at times out there. A little bit of fair weather cloudiness. 88-degree air temperature. Probably top it off at around 90. We're looking at a dew point value of 76 degrees. And the winds, not bad, right? Northeast at about 10. Those winds are going to get breezy quickly during the evening hours, I think. And then we're going to get sustained winds during the overnight, probably starting at around 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning that, while not life-threatening by any stretch of the imagination, I think will cause some people to sit up and take notice that they're going to be kind of breezy out there, even windy. And though they probably won't do much damage, especially along the coast, it'll certainly be kind of unusual for this area to have a 30-mile-per-hour sustained wind, and that could definitely lead to some power outages. More on that in a second. Here's the latest track. 140-mile-an-hour winds, and it certainly looks like some additional strengthening is possible as it moves up on a track that takes it very close to the Space Coast. Right now, some of the storm surge models are indicating a 7 to 9 foot storm surge. Add on top of that high tide, add on top of that wave action. You could get some 12-foot breakers with this storm. So you're talking about a 15, 18-foot wave above sea level that's going to crash over top of homes, no doubt. This is and move inland, flooding inland, maybe 15, 20 miles. A very, very bad situation. Anywhere from the Space Coast, from Fort Pierce, really, all the way up toward Jacksonville. Just a bad situation. And wind speeds inland. I mean, Orlando could see some hurricane force winds. That's how far inland those winds will go. We are nowhere near the cone. We are going to, I think, wake up and find ourselves very fortunate with what kind of weather we are going to experience over the next 24 hours compared to the other coast. Look what happens in the final issues of this forecast track. You know, the loops continue, the forecast models continue with this loop scenario. The only thing is this water will have been stirred up and agitated so much that a lot of the warmth will be removed. And hard to imagine that this system will have much of a punch as it heads south. Too early to tell exactly what will happen with it. Will it be absorbed? Will it actually follow that scenario? We'll see. Okay, here's what I think that we can expect to see. I classify our threat hazards in 3 categories: rough seas, windy conditions, and then some stronger storms that'll move through in rain bands. Rough seas, are going to be an issue if you're a boater, and obviously if you're smart enough not to go out there in these waters, why then this will be a very dealable situation. Because the winds will be mostly offshore, coastal flooding will not be a big issue for us like it was with our last storm. 20 to 30 knot winds on open waters, 12-foot seas possible, especially as you go a little offshore. Obviously, stay in port. Make sure that boat is moored up tight. 20 to 30 mile per hour winds, windy conditions during the overnight, higher inland winds. That'll lead to some isolated power surges, I think, some trees, branches down, that sort of thing. But within the rain bands, we could see some stronger winds filtering down, 50 to 60 mile an hour gusts there, kind of similar to severe thunderstorms, that sort of scenario. And that will occur between tonight, say midnight tonight, and right straight through tomorrow afternoon. The eye of the storm continues on a trek that takes it right up toward Florida, as I mentioned, through the Bahama Islands, now just north of Andros Island, skirting that island. Big convective towers all around the eye wall, indicating a strengthening system. And some of that easterly wind flow slinging back storms in this direction, bringing us that 30% chance of storms today. Tomorrow, our rain chance, I think, will go up to about 50% as the eye of the storm gets closer to the center of the state. Lifted north by a trough of low pressure and then kicked out to sea by a high pressure ridge building in. We expect to see fairly calm conditions today with some fast-moving clouds out there. It'll become breezy tonight with those showers around, even windy during the overnight, with some higher wind gusts contained within those storms, as I just mentioned. Then things will settle down quite a bit. The good news is on the track that it's taking, for us anyway, the probability of stronger winds have gone down. In fact, the probability of hurricane force winds in Sarasota is 0, and the forecast for even tropical storm winds is pretty low at about 20%, so that's good news. Wind gusts, however, as I said, that could be an issue. If you take this time during the afternoon to go out, lower your porch umbrellas, bring in the lightweight trash can lids, take down lightweight bird feeders, things like that should be okay. These wind speeds should be dealable. Again, boaters, this evening, wind speeds pick up. Stay in port. Check those mooring lines. Over the course of the next several days, the strongest effects will occur tomorrow, Saturday. Things will kind of clear out pretty quickly, and I think the weekend looks to be pretty nice, Scott, with some very pleasant lower humidity weather.
We look forward to that. Thank you, John. In health news today, the FDA has a warning for parents and others caring for teething children. They're now asking caregivers to stop using homeopathic teething tablets and gels. The FDA investigating reports of adverse reactions caused by the products, such as seizures, breathing problems, and lethargic behavior. No recall has been ordered, but CVS drugstore chain has already pulled all the teething products from its shelves. When it comes to dealing with teens who are overweight, doctors say focus more on their diet and not the pounds. The new recommendation is coming from the American Academy of Pediatrics. They say healthy lifestyle habits for teens should be the prime focus and not their weight. But they add the real danger exists when teens start trying things like fasting, diet pills, laxatives, or performing excessive exercise. And while the AAP has previously issued guidelines on both childhood obesity and eating disorders, recent studies have shown teens who diet are actually more likely than their peers to become overweight and develop these disorders. The new report is the first time a connection has been made between the two.
Don't focus on the weight at mealtime. Don't say, oh, you can't have that because you're overweight. You can't do this because of that. Just talk about what are the things you can do, what are those healthy things to do, and then trying to set your kid up for success. So keeping those healthy things in the house. Keep the snacks out of the house that you know are going to be pitfalls and troubles.
Experts say it's also not a good idea for parents to take up fad diets. Kids often pick up the things their parents are doing and then try it themselves. There could actually be an age limit on how long we live. New research published in the journal Nature suggests there may be a limit to our lifespan. The oldest living person on record, 122 years old. But some scientists now believe the human lifespan more likely maxes out at 115 years, if you can get that far. But there's some criticism. Some researchers say the study does not take into account progress that has been made in the laboratory in extending the lifespan of some animals like mice and flies. Others say don't believe the hype. They say people wishing to live longer lives should just focus on a healthy diet and exercise. Now to a remarkable story out of Boston, where a retired Marine sergeant who lost all of his limbs is now getting a second chance. Marine Sergeant John Peck lost both his legs and left arm after stepping on a homemade bomb in 2010 while serving in Afghanistan. He later lost his right arm because of an infection. But thanks to doctors at Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital, he underwent a double arm transplant. Peck received his new arms this summer in a 14-hour-long surgery. He says the simple tasks, things like just scratching his nose, are huge achievements for him.
Hard to rely on somebody to do everything for me. And every day, well, every week, there's been even a small accomplishment.
Doctors say they expect 9 to 12 months of rehab. Peck says when he recovers, he plans on going to culinary school, travel to Paris and Italy, and then compete on the next Food Network Star TV show. We wish him the best in that. Coming up, Hurricane Matthew gaining strength, the latest on the monster storm as it makes its way towards the east coast of Florida. But first, it's the highest honor you can achieve in sports, how one Suncoast athlete is making his mark in a Hall of Fame. The story coming up.
Mom needed more care than we could provide, so we called Granny Nannies. She now has around-the-clock caregivers, and we have peace of mind. Thanks to them, she's where she belongs, at home.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast.
Hello, I'm Rebecca Vargas.
And I'm Don Brennan. More than 5 million Americans have Alzheimer's disease, but new research can help women find treatment earlier in their diagnosis.
Tomorrow on Good Morning Suncoast, we'll show you why verbal learning tests may help. John?
We'll give you the latest on how Matthew impacts Suncoast weather bright and early tomorrow.
Tomorrow at 5 on ABC7's Good Morning Suncoast. We're here for you.
My name is Julius. I have cerebral palsy. I work for Farmer Jeffrey Weising Law Firm. I do a lot of data entry and scanning documents. I want to increase my working experience to make the company much better. At the end of the day, it's good to think of the day's work and to think about what I have accomplished.
Hi, this is Dan Marino. When your business recruits people with disabilities, everybody wins. To find out how, go to abilitieswork.employflorida.com.
Download ABC7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Is your old garage door stuck or broken? Would a new one give you a lift? Let Precision Door Overhead Garage Door Service of Sarasota come to the rescue with prompt and affordable repair service. Replacement doors come with an array of styles and colors, and they are rated to meet and exceed Florida standards. From estimates to installation, your satisfaction is our priority. If you're not 100% satisfied with any product, service, or installation, we will make it right, because Precision Door Service is a name you can trust.
Need more space in your place? The More Space Place can help with Murphy beds that disappear to reveal a home office, living room, or den. Custom closets with designated areas for your shoes, bags, wardrobe, and accessories. Custom-built entertainment centers, garage storage systems, and more. The More Space Place has 3 showrooms next to Sonny's on US 41 South in Sarasota, on Lakewood Ranch Boulevard just south of State Route 64 in Bradenton, and on Tamiami Trail next to Panera Bread in Port Charlotte. Put more space in your place at the More Space Place.
At Granny Nannies, we provide your loved ones with the care they deserve. Compassionate and experienced help right where you need it most. At home. Visit us at GrannyNannies.com.
A helping hand and a gentle heart.
The Jones family has cast quite a long shadow on the Suncoast sports scene for years now. ABC7's Don Brennan had a chance to talk to John Jones, who was about to receive a very high honor. Don?
Scott, upon graduating, John Jones had the choice of several schools and another choice of playing football or basketball in college. He chose basketball and said he would do it the same way if he had it all to do over again. When I caught up with John Jones, he was doing what he has done for the past 27 years, working for the county in some capacity of overseeing recreational activities. As of next Thursday, he'll do his job as a Hall of Famer, a University of Tampa Hall of Famer.
When I finally received the call, brought tears to my eyes.
Someone once said 90% of life is just showing up, and like in his job, Jones always showed up for the Spartans basketball team.
I still lead the school in minutes played. I was on the court, and I gave 100%, and that in itself speaks for my career.
Jones was a star in both football and basketball in high school, so he had choices to make, which sport and which school.
You know, Tampa showed me a lot of love. When I came out of Sarasota High, Sarasota is a football town. And I had plenty football scholarships on the table, but I had a love for basketball.
That love for the game was apparent to one of his high school coaches, Kerry Baker.
John was a very determined and worked hard. He was a center in high school and a point guard in college. He played all 5 positions in college.
He did many things right, especially in one of the biggest upsets in school history as the Division II Spartans took down a national giant.
Wound up playing the point position. He played NC State, one of the big games. Valvano's team scored 31 points against NC State, and University of Tampa D2 beat NC State.
He'll be inducted October 13th, which is next Thursday, and trying to get a seat at his table will be difficult, if not impossible.
They told me I have 25 people on my list, and that's one of the highest numbers they've ever had at a Hall of Fame ceremony.
One of those who was lucky enough to score a ticket at the table is Baker, and he'll be beaming with pride.
It's amazing because all the kids that I've had an opportunity to coach and went to different colleges, that's the first one that's gone into the Hall of Fame.
And his sons also, John Jr. starred in both basketball and football at Booker, and Jeremy started basketball and football at Riverview, and they both played in college as well. And his nephew, Ricky Jones Jr., is a wide receiver now at Indiana University. It's amazing, University of Indiana, and it's amazing the family sports tree that they have. And Scott's unbelievable. Now, we're going over to Scott Dennis, who's taking a turn in the kitchen with Chef Samuel Ray.
That's right, from Tsunami Sushi and Hibachi Grill in downtown Sarasota. Samuel, great to have you here again.
Always
and this is a pretty cool thing. Meatballs.
Meatballs, Asian meatballs.
Asian
it's a
meatballs.
Bit different,
Who knew?
But you know,
yeah.
We're going to give it a shot, see how it works, all right?
And I'm going to help, apparently.
Yes, you are. I'm putting you to work. So we can get started here. I'm going to build the sauce first and let that cook for a little bit, and then we'll work on our meatballs.
Okay.
We've got 2 cups of orange juice going into a hot pan here. That's going to give you that orange flavor, of course, for the orange chicken. Then we have some salt, 1 teaspoon there, garlic, red pepper. This is sugar.
Okay.
Sesame oil here. And finally, of course, soy sauce.
Yeah, a must.
A must in Asian cuisine, right?
Yeah.
And then for our thickening agent, we use cornstarch, and we've mixed 3 tablespoons of cornstarch with 3 tablespoons of water here. And you mix it up and make kind of a slurry, like that, and then just pour it in. And as that gets hot and starts to simmer, it'll thicken up for us and go great with our meatballs
All
here.
right. So now we got to make the meatballs. Huh?
Yeah, we ready?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, I've got everything laid out for you. So if you want to just start dumping in 3 cloves of minced garlic there.
Okay.
Awesome. Then we've got half a cup of scallions chopped.
Okay.
Fresh scallions, always the best. And then panko breadcrumbs. They help hold everything together, of course. And this is ground chicken that we're using today. You can do it with ground turkey if you like turkey better, but I didn't want to be sleepy this afternoon, so we're going with chicken.
And
then 1 egg there. So then we just sort of mix all of that up. If you want to.
With my hands?
Yeah,
you want
just grab. You're going to get your hands in there anyway.
Yeah,
You're make it in
that's the only way to do meatballs, isn't it?
Yeah. So this is a great recipe for like parties or, you know, just a homey dinner if you want. You can also do it in a crock pot if you like, and you just sear the meatballs and throw them in the crock pot with the sauce.
Right.
You know, the longer it sits, the better it gets, like most things.
What's the key? I mean, I've always thought it's challenging to make a good meatball, you know, that has the right consistency, it tastes good. And
right.
So
I would say use plenty of breadcrumbs. Those thickening agent like the egg are going to help out a lot. The egg and the panko breadcrumbs, and then you just press it, you know. Takes practice.
How's that look?
That's beautiful.
That looks pretty good. Huh?
So
now
let's go for it. We're going to do like a cocktail size, so just a pinch there, and then press it. And drop them in. We're going to sear these, brown these on all sides, and then they're going to go in with our building sauce here. So our pan's on about medium-high heat. Turn it up a little bit here.
And how long will these take to cook?
About a minute on each side, I'd say. Yeah. Not too long at all.
Nice hot pan will do that.
Yes.
And is this one of your popular dishes at the restaurant?
This is a new one that we're doing, actually. We always like to change things up at Tsunami, you know,
Yeah.
keep things interesting. So this is something we are experimenting with on our new menu. It's one of our small bites you can do at happy hour.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right, I got room for one more. Let me put that in there.
Awesome. We use our tongs here to start turning these guys over.
Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. There we go.
Yeah, that browned up nice.
Yeah.
Very quickly.
So we
And-
just want to get them seared on all sides,
Yeah.
and then they're going to go in the sauce to really mix with the flavors.
And that'll cook the rest of it through.
Absolutely. So, like I said, this is going on our happy hour. Our happy hour is Monday through Thursday,
Okay.
4:30 to 6:30.
Yeah.
We do a lot of cooked things on TV, of course, because we can't do sushi every time, but
Yeah.
we've got tons of sushi rolls on there, all different. And
they're all delicious.
Yeah.
Well, listen, folks, if you want to try this recipe, you can do it at home, or better yet, just go to Tsunami Sushi and Hibachi Grill. Let them do it for you. But we'll put that on our website, mysuncoast.com. Just go to the dining page. Samuel, this looks delicious. There's the finished product right over there. It looks amazing. Thank you for being here.
Always a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thanks.
it's great to have you here. And we'll be right back.
Designers do it with style.
Tell me what's going on here. Because
Why, you don't like my hair? The Mark and Mandy Show. In-depth design ideas.
What is up with the tuck tape here? Let's cover it up.
Amazing beauty and fashion tips.
So Halle Berry has amazing skin. Her secret is coffee grounds.
No.
Delicious recipes.
Today, I'm gonna show you a special dish that is sure to please that special someone in your life.
Watch the Mark and Mandy Show right here on your favorite channel.
It's time to upgrade your favorite news app. Now, ABC7's My Suncoast News app is better than ever with a dynamic brand new design that's faster and easier to use. Stay connected with new features that make it easy to submit photos, share stories on Facebook and Twitter, and save stories for reading at a later time. Download our free My Suncoast News app on your mobile device at your app store. ABC7's all-new My Suncoast News app. Just another way we're here for you. Powered by the Eye Associates, providing sight for life.
So many possibilities worth exploring. Minnesota Flooring.
Looking for carpet? Look no further. Minnesota Flooring has Smart Strand carpet as low as $1.79 per square foot. Installed, no add-ons or extras. Unbelievable? Minnesota Flooring can have in-stock carpet installed in your home in 48 hours for as low as $1.99 per square foot. Don't miss these prices. Visit Minnesota Flooring today.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
I owed the IRS $20,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house. The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
We saved our home and overcame the most powerful collection agency in the world.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 1-800-565-7740. That's 1-800-565-7740.
At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota, we make sure you get the most for your money. More years, more miles, more 2016 IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus winners than any other brand. And right now, you can lease the most award-winning small SUV on the planet. A new 2016 Subaru Forester for just $209 a month. Complimentary maintenance included. At Sunset Subaru in Sarasota. Get more for your money. Go to Sunset Subaru in Sarasota.
Live from our studios on Florida's Suncoast, this is ABC7 News at noon. Your Suncoast News. We're here for you.
We're looking at, again, a very strong building storm, Matthew, here on a forecast track that takes it, well, right up the coast of Florida as a strong storm. This is an enhanced infrared image, and you can see these big, bright red areas in the infrared imagery. Those are what we call hot towers, and they're big thunderstorms that shoot way up into the sky, and they're an indication of a strengthening storm. Here's the latest forecast track from the Hurricane Center. Thursday tonight, late tonight, it starts approaching the coast, and then by tomorrow morning hugs the coast near the Space Coast, and then takes a trek up toward Jacksonville. Now, people ask me, why is it so hard to forecast exactly where or if it'll make landfill? Well, let me show you why. If you take the position of the storm down here and put just a slight little bend in it, look how much it varies on the track down the road. That's why these coastal storms that hug the coast are so difficult to forecast. Just a little change down here makes a huge change up here. That's exactly what happened with Charley, if you'll recall. Just a little change in the forecast track made a huge difference. Okay, let's take a look at what to expect here locally. As the storm lifts northward, the wind speeds are kind of encouraging for us here locally. The probability of tropical storm force winds along the coastline is getting lower. We're at about maybe 20% along the coast. And the chance of hurricane force winds or even strong tropical storm force winds, really, except for the most inland counties, is near zero. So damaging winds will not be the problem. An occasional rain band coming through could have some stronger winds, like a severe thunderstorm might, and we'll be watching for that during the overnight. But that really is a big luck out for us, and I think we'll wake up thinking, my goodness, are we fortunate? Also, people ask, well, you've got a Category 4 storm. How is it that we cannot feel a lot of the power of this storm? Well, look at the shape. It's very kind of irregular in shape, kind of oblong almost. As the storm approaches us, most of the action will be on the east side of the storm or right along the core. Unfortunately, that core may make its way right along the coastline, but the majority of the rough weather will be off the Atlantic coast. We'll have the complete forecast for what we can expect coming up in just a few. Scott?
All right, thank you so much, John. More than 100 deaths are now being blamed on Hurricane Matthew, most of them in Haiti, where a lack of power and flooded roadways are making residents completely cut off from communication. The Haitian government is estimating at least 350,000 people need some kind of assistance. There are also fears that those who survive the storm may starve. Meanwhile, the capital of the Bahamas, Nassau, receiving the full force of Hurricane Matthew. More than 3,000 tourists are on the island there. Those staying at luxury Atlantis Resort were evacuated from their hotel rooms to the ballroom, where they spent the night on the floor.
We are concerned. We're trying to, make the best of it.
Parts of Cuba were reduced to rubble. Entire buildings collapsed, many structured roofs torn off. U.S. military personnel are expected to start delivering food and water to hard-hit areas very soon. The storm is also causing trouble for travelers along the East Coast. Airlines are canceling flights from Florida up through Georgia and the Carolinas. Vacationers are checking their insurance policies to see if they're covered. Most airlines are allowing passengers to change flights without penalties. As for hotels, many rooms can be canceled up to 24 hours in advance without penalty, and car rentals typically don't have cancellation penalties. Cruise lines, however, are not canceling any sales, but are shuffling their ship itineraries to avoid the storm. And Airbnb has also activated its disaster response tool to host evacuees and find host homes free of charge. Here at home, workers are digging ditches on the side of the road to help storm water drain faster. Crews are replacing the dirt with gravel in order to help water drain off the street quicker. This was from Anna Maria Island. It also helps become more sanitized. A couple other notes related to the storm. Manatee County schools will be closed tomorrow, and there will be 4 shelter openings there at 4 o'clock this afternoon for those who live in mobile or manufactured homes and who don't feel safe and want to evacuate to somewhere safe. Sarasota County schools will remain open tomorrow. Friday, school will be open in Sarasota County, but closed in Manatee County. In other news, Florida Highway Patrol is investigating a fatal 2-car collision. It took place this morning at University Parkway and Lockwood Ridge Road in front of the McDonald's restaurant there. Troopers say 2 vehicles hit head-on. 6 people were injured. 1 person was killed in this wreck. We're told troopers say that 1 person apparently went through the windshield during that crash. We'll have more details on the crash coming up in our evening newscast. Now to the elections in our continuing series on the battleground states. This is week 3. ABC's Lana Zak is in the southern battleground state of North Carolina.
Here on the wide southern porches of North Carolina, the future of this election may be decided.
North Carolina voters, I think, people care about this state so much, and they care about its rich history and its future.
A true swing state, North Carolina is a rarity in recent elections. President Obama won it in 2008, only to lose it in his 2012 re-election bid.
Who do you think is going to win this state?
Sad to say, it may be Trump.
Hillary will win.
It's a fast-changing state. It has a tradition of being a Republican stranglehold, but the Democrats have begun to make this a truly competitive state.
The North Carolina voters I spoke with were concerned about a range of issues.
Foreign affairs,
race relations in the community,
Second Amendment,
tax plans in general.
But one came up with the greatest frequency.
The economy.
The economy.
The economy.
Since we're here at a grocery store, which of the two candidates do you think actually knows how much a gallon of milk costs?
Oh, I don't think either one of them know that.
Undecided voters like Chad Summers says he's frustrated by this election.
Out of all the citizens of the United States, we could come up with two candidates who were more favorable than the ones that we have to choose from.
First-time voters Andrew and Samantha agree.
I believe Gary Johnson will do the best job.
Clinton has been here 10 times, Trump 13. And the nation has watched as North Carolina has been thrust into the national spotlight over its LGBT bathroom law and police shootings of black men that resulted in race riots in Charlotte. Those issues important to the voters here.
We need to really push for community policing.
But more than anything, the people I meet speak of their families and the impact this election will have on generations to come.
We should have a president that will make our country better and everything safe to play on and do.
And you know, all of the voters I spoke with, even the undecided, said they absolutely plan on voting in November. And the candidates taking notice. As of today, Donald Trump spending $7 million here, Hillary Clinton $20 million. Lana Zach, ABC News, Raleigh, North Carolina.
Lana, thank you. Meantime, you can catch both of the presidential candidates on the big screen. Regal Cinemas will be airing this Sunday's presidential debate live at 206 select theaters. Those shows are free. The debate airs at 9 p.m. Sunday from Washington University in St. Louis. It will also air on the major networks, including ABC. When we come back, John will have another look at our forecast and the latest on Hurricane Matthew. And they're considered some of the best pianists in the country. It's a most unique and extraordinary concert that's coming to our area. We'll have all the details in the Spotlight.
ABC 7 News at 7 weeknights.
Today, everyone is looking for more fashionable choices in flooring than ever before. And G. Fried has responded with a huge selection of carpets, tile, wood, laminate, and vinyl. Installed by a highly skilled team, G. Fried has got everything you're looking for and more. The next time you think about quality flooring, think G. Fried Flooring America. G. Fried Flooring America. Our world is at your feet.
They say good things come to those that wait. Well, you've waited long enough. You deserve to feel fabulous in your fashionable new Fiat 500X from Alfa Romeo Fiat in Sarasota. Boldly innovative, seductively stylish. Fiat gives you everything you'd expect from a capable utility vehicle, like a spacious interior and advanced safety systems, designed and built like a sexy little Sportster. Don't wait any longer. You deserve to feel fabulous. Get a new Fiat at Alfa Romeo Fiat of Sarasota.
Just because someone grows older, does that mean they have to grow apart from their friends or from the things they love to do? With Right at Home, it doesn't. Right at Home's professional team thoughtfully selects caregivers to help with personal care, housekeeping, meals, and most of all, staying engaged in life.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. Are you ready to go?
Oh, I sure am.
We can provide the right care right at home.
You only have one life. Are you gambling with it? 1 in 3 adults have high blood pressure. Not knowing your numbers could cause you to lose, big time. Luckily, you can turn the odds in your favor by getting your blood pressure checked today. Don't leave your health to chance. Learn more at heart.org/HPB.
Currently, some pretty pleasant conditions, 87-degree air temperature, dew point 75. But as I mentioned, winds will start to pick up this afternoon, and they're starting to pick up north-northeast at about 15 right now. We're watching Matthew with 140-mile-an-hour winds move north of Andros Island on a forecast track that takes it tonight approaching the Florida coastline, and then early tomorrow getting very close to the Space Coast, where there'll be some major damage, no doubt, depending on whether it's offshore or a little bit onshore. If it's a little bit onshore, the damage will be greater, of course. A little bit further offshore would be best. We'll hope for that. And then it'll lift north towards Jacksonville. Then watch what it does, kind of a loop-de-loop maybe out here, kind of similar to what Floyd did over on the other in the Atlantic basin, and then looped back around and hit the southern tip of Florida. We'll see if that actually plays out. There's a lot of things that might affect that down the road. So let's just get through the next couple of days. It looks like to me that if you rank the threats here on the Sun Coast, the stronger storms that may move through in the rain bands might have the most damage potential because of the stronger winds that might be brought down by some of those thunderstorms, similar to severe thunderstorms, maybe some 50-mile-an-hour gusts. I think rough seas will be a big problem, but the offshore winds will mean that we won't have really the coastal flooding issues. And the seas will run 8 to 12 feet. So long as there are no mariners out there, it will be all right there. In fact, it may be a benefit by breaking up some of the red tide. We'll see if that happens. A 20 to 30 mile per hour wind will be pretty popular across the coastal regions, and inland areas may be a little bit higher. That could lead to some power outages and some downed tree limbs, certainly. And then, of course, the rain bands with the gusty winds, I think, will be the biggest threat, particularly in Hardee County. We're watching a very well-defined eye lift northward. Some of these rain bands being slung on shore currently produced some very heavy rainfall along the Space Coast already, and some of the showers will move into our neck of the woods. The storm itself is going to produce some very heavy rainfall, though not particularly for us. The center of the storm has large convective bursts around the eye, and these convective bursts that you see here on radar are an indication of a very healthy storm. There is some dry air down here. The hope that I have is that perhaps some sort of interaction with land as it gets closer to the Florida Peninsula might limit its growth. The only thing is that in waters this warm, these strong storms have a tendency to create their own environment. So some pretty big thunderstorm activity to the north will probably not allow that to happen. These water temperatures are just, you know, they're dynamite for thunderstorms. 86-degree water temperatures, 87-degree water temperatures, historic record warmth down there. Plus, the shear aloft in the atmosphere, that is the ripping winds, the tearing winds that tear thunderstorms apart, are not that strong over the Bahamas and the near Atlantic waters. Here, blue is bad. In other words, it will allow thunderstorms to grow tall as we don't have much shearing environment in the winds. And the blue area of low shear just really follows this storm north with time. Eventually, we'll get a little more shear in the environment, and that'll help as it gets up near Jacksonville, kind of lessen its intensity. That, plus the fact that it'll be interacting with land eventually. The storm lifts north, and for us, it's pushed out to sea by a high-pressure ridge. It means calm today, but with some fast-moving clouds around, but becoming breezy, even windy tonight with a few showers around. The good news is, as I mentioned earlier, the chances for really sustained damaging winds is really not in the forecast. In fact, hurricane force winds, zero chance of that. 20 to 30 mile an hour winds will be pretty popular, I think, with some stronger gusts near thunderstorms. But look at the rainfall totals. Not really for us. It's for the other coast, and there, inland flooding will also be an issue right along with those storm surges. So for us, stay out of the water, mariners. Take this opportunity, this last few hours of opportunity, to make sure that your boat is well moored. It's going to get windier a little later on this evening, 4 to 6 foot seas near shore, but that will build during the next 24 hours. Forecast calls for the worst weather to occur after midnight tonight and then through tomorrow morning. I think by tomorrow afternoon and evening, things will start to quiet down around here. And over the weekend, I think things will look pretty nice with some cooler, drier weather moving in. Scott?
All right, love it. Thank you so much, John. You can get constant updates on Hurricane Matthew 24 hours a day by downloading our app. You can search for Suncoast Weather and you'll get notifications directly to your smartphone if there are any watches, warnings issued, street closures, or flooding problems. It's a great app, so check it out for your phone. We have some really amazing musicians here on the Suncoast, and this weekend you can see 5 of the best in action together. ABC 7's Linda Carson has more in the Spotlight.
The Artist Series concerts kick off this weekend with a concert called Piano Grand.
This involves 5 grand pianos and 5 exquisite pianists. The 5 pianos are coming from New York City, from the Steinway Corporation.
The 5 pianists, all from Sarasota, are some of the best in the country. There's Steinway concert artist Andrew Lapp and...
starting the list is Jonathan Spivey, who's the principal keyboard player for the Sarasota Orchestra. Don Bryn, who is head of keyboard studies at State College of Florida. Rich Reidenauer, who is a concert pianist, plays throughout the country.
Holt designed the program.
And the program that I designed around this is a little bit like the Boston Pops. So it has a little meat to it, but it's primarily light classical type pieces, and they're all arranged for 5 pianos.
And we're going to be playing the Blue Danube Waltz, just like an orchestra, but at 5 pianos. We're going to be playing Scott Joplin's The Entertainer, and some Cacophony, which is the Khachaturian saber dance, which is just wild and rebellious.
The pianos will be arranged in a special configuration.
They'll be lined up in a circle, a semicircle, so that the majority of the audience will be able to see someone's hands. And all faces will be facing more or less out towards the audience. And so that we'll also have, the connection between the 5 of us.
They won't be able to see each other's hands.
The challenge is, of course, to coordinate 5 different people playing on 5 different instruments and make it sound like it's one.
This is a rare opportunity to see something extraordinary.
The Steinway piano is the greatest piano on the planet, in my opinion. And to hear 5 pianos that are the greatest achievements played by the greatest musicians that this town has to offer is very special.
The concert of a lifetime, Piano Grand at the Sarasota Opera House, Sunday at 3 p.m. This one you don't want to miss. Linda Carson, ABC 7, your Suncoast News.
Toe-tapping music right there. We'll be right back with more. Stay with us.
Every week on Animal Outtakes, it's a new adventure.
This week on Animal Outtakes, preserving and protecting our seabirds. Learn how you can help. Plus, Kids and Critters goes down on the farm with a couple of pigs. And just wait until you meet our Dog of the Week.
Watch Animal Outtakes every week on ABC 7.
I'm Alan Cohn. Federal funding to fight heroin. Congressman Vern Buchanan has been advocating for assistance, but how would it impact our area?
Tonight on ABC 7 News at 7, your Suncoast News. We're here for you. Download ABC 7's free all-new news app at your app store today.
Gold fever has once again swept the nation. And everyone is rushing to Florida to strike it doubly rich. Introducing the $5 million Gold Rush Doubler. We're doubling cash prizes for over $752 million in payouts. And 36 prizes from $1 million to $5 million. The Florida Gold Rush is on. The Florida Lottery, just imagine.
Since 1972, Sleep King has provided quality mattresses and accessories at the best discounted prices available. Top brands like Simmons, Sealy, Serta, Beautyrest, iComfort, and more. With available free delivery, free financing, and free setup and removal. For a comfortable night's sleep with same-day delivery, even if we have to carry it on our backs. Trust Sleep King of Sarasota. Buy it today, sleep on it tonight.
Types of timber, cuts of meat, cooking times, temperatures, rubs, seasonings, sauces. You name it, they know it. That's what makes them who they are, Sonny's Pitmasters. And proud of it. Come get some baby back ribs at Sonny's Barbecue. On their own or paired with favorites like jalapeno cheddar hot links or pulled or sliced pork plus 2 sides and bread. Sonny's Barbecue. Local Pitmasters since '68.
They care. They take the time to understand you, take the time to understand your case.
There's no better satisfaction to me than to see a client who is happy because of the job we've done for them.
It's really actually very comforting to know that there's someone that you've heard of and you're getting recommendations about that you can turn to when you have a problem.
I felt like I had a partner in this, and he was going to be by my side.
They're coming from Tampa, Fort Myers, even Orlando. They're coming from everywhere for the Sarasota Ford Promise. Our promise means a new car you'll love. If not, return it for one you do. At Sarasota Ford, we promise live market pricing. We monitor national pricing on our entire inventory, so you get the best deal. In fact, we guarantee it. Bring us any competitor's ad, and we'll beat it by at least $1,000. That's why they're coming from everywhere to Sarasota Ford, where 41 meets 301. SarasotaFord.com.
Hurricane Matthew strengthening back into a Category 4 late this morning.
Sure is. Of course, the East Coast is on high alert for this storm. We are very fortunate thus far in what it looks like we might receive, but as I always say, don't turn your back on the storm till it's north of North Carolina. Bob, of course, entered 5 with the latest hurricane track. There's another one that comes out this evening, and it'll be very interesting to see whether or not it moves at all toward the west. Any westward motion could impact our forecast, but so far the cone seems to be cooperating for us, and of course our thoughts and prayers are with all those East Coast residents that had to evacuate. And if you see any of them out there and about in the city tonight, maybe dining outside, wish them luck, shake their hand, and tell them we're with them.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us. See you again at 5.